Istungon Jokayadega. Can y'all hear me?
Hey.
All right. Oh, I know. Istungon Jokayadega. Or Istungon Jokayadega. More than one. So I can say that to Jane. I'll say Istungon Jokayadega. But if I'm saying it to Lucinda and Jane, I'll say Istungon Jokayadega. Okay? Istungon Jokayadega. That's how you would say that. Somebody the other day was wanting to learn verb tenses. And before we go into all this other stuff, we're going to learn we're going to go back over that. Remember those tones now. That's one thing. And, remember yesterday I was saying, they'll say that stories in Muskogee are funnier when they're not English stories are not as funny as Creek. And said they're funnier in the Muskogee language than they are in English. Well, that's because of the tones. They'll tell tones, and I've heard I can tell by the tone that people are talking when they're serious, when they're sad, just by their tone, or even aggravated, or even when they are like something happened and they're feeling this compassion. Like you tell somebody, somebody passed or something, they'll say, Dawadi. Oh my gosh. See how that goes? And that's how, but if you want, like something shouldn't have happened like something happened that was out of stupidity or not listening, they'll say, Dawadi. See that? Dawadi. See, you can tell, and those are tones in different ways, and you can just about tell what's going on just by listening to tones. And that's how that's why tones are important. Just like Vegas, you can tell somebody to quit, Vegas, but you can change that tone and say, Vegas, don't do that. But then if you really want to get your point across, Vegas, see, that tone can tell a person what you're feeling actually, because it's behind the word. And like like going back to Dawadi, I heard that a lot of times. I heard a woman tell my mom that one of the kids really got hurt bad. I mean, it was life or death. And she said, Dawadi. But I heard it with me. She used it on me, like if I was being senseless and I cut my foot, or she told me not to go out there to a certain place and I did and I got hurt. Dawadi. See? Dawadi, I told you. I was telling you not to do that. See, she was telling me in a way that, in that tone told me that. And so these tones has a lot to do with how you use it. They'll say, Madat. Madat is like, Madat. Oh my gosh. These tones has different, ways, and my great kids know these tones. So when I use a different tone, like if I'm really busy and my little grandson is behind me, like I said before, pulling on my shirt, just wanting immediate attention, I'll say, not again. See, I'm kind of in this place where like I'm a little bit, I'm being a little bit short with him, but yet being a little bit aggravated, yet being, okay, trying to answer him. And I'll say, no, again, what? and I'll say, but if I'm not that way and he's asking me something, I'll say, Noggin, what? See that tone has a lot to do with this. So I want y'all to get these tones down. Get the tones down because that has everything to do with what you're talking about. Say this right here, her husband. Ihi, ihi. Ihi is her husband, but if you say ihi, that's yes. So see, that's just same spelling. Same spelling. You would think that's the same word. But when you change that tone, it means totally something different. Like ihi is husband, somebody's husband. But if you say ihi, that means yes. So see how that same spelling, but different sounds, different tones. One's short, one's long. Same way with this. His or her foot, ili, is short and blunt. But if you say dead, you say ili. And that same spelling, same word, different meanings with different tones, different sounds. That's how, that's why tones has, I always like to go over tones because that's how you can change a word, you know, like coffee in English right here. Coffee in English is coffee. But in Muskogee, you got to have that tone that says coffee, coffee. So see that, hear that the way it's said, and coffee and coffee. There's a resemblance, but the tone is different. And so that's how you can change, that's how we speak, tones. A lot of it is tones and sounds. They're sounds. If you look at coffee, coffee, it sounds too, got the ga in the feet. Ili, ili. See this ili? Right here. If you said it means somebody died, and you can add to that like ili bajok, saying somebody has died, has passed. Ili bajok. But if we say ihi, we can't say that. We have to say Gloria ihidos. That's Gloria's husband. Or we'll say, oh, I'm doing the wrong one. Ili, like ili. So like if you say my ili, that leg. Or Gloria ili. See, that's her leg. But you can't say ili. Ili bajok, somebody died. And you can put a name to that. Masty ili bajok. Remember what Masty was? That man. That man died. Masty ili bajoks. That's saying that person has passed, has died. So that's how these tones help you, and that's why I like to show you all this, especially the one with the same spelling, but the tone changes the meaning, okay? Changes the meaning, okay? We're going back over verbs because for one thing, when we get into these, you're going to hear everything that's been on these lessons, okay? Everything that we have studied in the previous lessons will be in all these sentences that I'm going to do the next class. Now, tomorrow will be the next class and we'll get a break, okay? We'll get a break and then I'll have my things done. But remember infinitive verbs. This language has got to do with verbs. Verbs, verbs. There's more than this right here. I don't know who has that green dictionary or even the gray one or the red one or the black one. Or even a songbook. Go through it. Go through it and you will see a lot of infinitive verbs. Just by looking at it, you can. Because like, see, an infinitive verb Ahunijida. I think Desiree went through this with y'all yesterday. She had a good system there. Ahunijida is to wake up. Ida means to. Idia. And I am doing it. Ahunijas. Ahunijas. But if you want to make a command and tell somebody to wake up, you say ahunijas. And we use a lot of commands. We don't realize it, but we do when we speak it. We don't know how many times you do something right here. You don't know how many times you're doing something until you pay attention, to how you're speaking, because that's me. I don't know. And sometimes I'll speak and then I'll go back over my words and say, okay, how many things did I use in this sentence? Just by speaking. Okay. Hombida is to eat. Hombes, I'm eating. How many times do you eat? How many times do you tell people? I'm eating. How many times do you say hombus? That's where y'all need to learn to make a habit of using it. Okay, especially hombus. You tell somebody, if you live with your grandkids or the grandkids live with you, you tell them to eat. Hombus. Use it as a command. When people visits, hombus. I say it so many times, when like yesterday evening I got home and I said, hombus. And I went, one was in the den, one was in bathroom, one was in one was in the tub, one was in the bedroom, one was in the den. So I went to each one and I said, Milena, hombus, Gili, hombus, Jigaby, hombus. I had to go to each one and tell them to eat. And it was a command, not like in a bad way, but telling them to eat, telling them to, okay? How many times do you say that? How many times do you work? I mean, I go to work every day, so if somebody says, what are you doing? I say, I don't guess. I don't guess. I'm working. I'm doing something. I'm working. I don't guess. And then, but my little grandson here, he likes to help out in the yard. And I'll tease him and I'll say, Jiban, adutkas. Adutkas. Work. Jiban, work. And I tease him a lot, and sometimes he'll say, too hot, Grandma. And I'll say, hot. Hey, you did. See, when he says too hot, I say, hey, you did. Is it hot? And he'll nod his head, yes. So see how I'm using that English to Muskogee? Like he'll say, it's hot. And I'll say, hey, you did. And he'll say, because he knows what I said. I'm repeating almost exactly what he's saying. And he knows. Legas, legida, to sit. How long do you sit? I sit at my desk, almost, I get a break, 30-minute break for breaks, 15 minutes each. Then I get lunch break. But half that time I'm sitting at my desk doing stuff like this. I'm getting y'all's lessons ready now. I just got done with 2 a while ago. I've been working on it. I got 2. But I can say, look here. Legas, adortkit. Adortkida can say, instead of saying adortkis or adortkas, I can say, I am sitting here working. I can put that in there. I can say, adortkit legas. I'm sitting here working. Okay? Adortkit legas. So that can be added to that. And I can say, I'm sitting. How many times? And then how many times do you tell your kids to behave and sit down? Legas. Legas. And my little middle one, she likes to stand and eat. I don't know why. But and I'll say, I'll say Lagos. Lagos. And you know, I don't know why she likes to stand, but you know, there's a story behind that. My mom used to say when you stand and eat, when you're little, you'll be real tall. And she knows that. And she said, cause I want to get tall. And I'm like, you know, sit down. I'll quit using Lagos and I'll say, sit down. You know, and she'll sit down, she'll give me this grin and sit down. But see, how many times you use that? Now, this one I don't hardly use right here. I did when they were little because we taught each one of them, we'd say Hamgen, Hokol, and Dochinen. 1, 2, 3. And they'd be holding, we have them between us and we'd make them jump. So we'd say Hamgen, Hokol, and Dochinen, Daskas, and we'd help them. So we were giving them commands. So, and then right here, Litkida, Litkas, especially if they're in sport. Litkas, run. And you know, all of these can be used in everyday life. Every one of them. Like here, Vegas. Tiboyat, Vegas, quit fighting. Dihanat, Vegas, don't be arguing, quit arguing. Ayas, Niska Jugo, Ayas, go to the store. Wakas, see these commands? I say that at night. Wakas. Wakas. I don't have to say that to 2 of them. One I do. 2 of them will go to sleep. Soon as I don't know how they do this, and I sometimes I'll stand there and watch them. Soon as their head hits that pillow, they're asleep. And I told my husband, I said, I want you to watch these 2. Watch them when they go to bed. I said, soon as their head hits that pillow, they're asleep. So I know when they lay down, they're going to sleep. Because the little boy, he'll go, and that's it. Little girl, that's it. I don't see how a person does that. Soon as their head hits the pillow, they're asleep. And I'm like, how in the world? Because I'll lay down and I don't sleep. I can lay there, read a book, but soon as their head touches that pillow like this, they're asleep. And he's been watching them too, and he said, I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they do it. We don't know. We don't know how they're doing it. They go right to sleep. So I'll say, Wakas, go lay down. And I'll say, no, just go to sleep. You use this every day. This one maybe, you know, I use this on when they were starting to walk. I would put them down and I would hold their little hands and I say, Yagabas. I was telling my kids to walk. Yagabas. And, you know, we'd hold their hands and they'd walk, you know. And Adis is saying, come here. That's another word I used all the time when my kids were growing up, because when they started standing and trying to walk, we'd stand them up, we'd say, Adis, Adis. We put our hands out, Adis, Adis. And, you know, so see, these are something you can use. You don't realize it, but you use it every day. I don't even realize it, but I do. I use it all the time. Somebody said they want to study verb tenses. Okay? Verb tenses is where you're taking infinitive verb, just like Desiree did yesterday, dropped it for you doing it. Present tense, though. Present tense. This is present tense. Thakolasti. I'm looking at a black horse. Borsilani. I'm looking at a yellow cat. Right now. Chogoholati. I'm looking at a blue house. I'm looking inside the store. Niska jogo ofan. Niska jogo ofan. Okay, the question is going to be this. Ofan. Because it's ofa is inside. But this is different. It's saying niska jogo often inside the store. Okay. This is putting it together inside. Right here, inside the store, putting it together. I did do pass. Media yanks. It's got, you take an infinitive verb, mijida. This be mijida. And you're saying media yanks. I did it. So look here. Honna nisa yanks. I bought a dress yesterday. But nisida is the infinitive verb for this one. Nisida. Here the ida. Nisida is to buy. But I didn't buy it now. I bought it yesterday. So I say nisa yanks. It's just those Indians, guys. Hombida nisa yanks. I bought food. When it says situation there, you could go into a restaurant and buy food. You can buy grocery and buy food because it's all considered hombida, okay? Hombida. It's all considered that. So if you say hombida nisa yanks, I bought food from, that's where situation environment comes in. Okay, nisida is the infinitive verb to that. Okay. Okay, I will do. This is somebody said they wanted to know future tense. Whatever you got, an infinitive verb, you can do it with future tense. Okay. Boko dahogan hijafis. Dahogan means the ball that's being kicked. Being kicked. Hijafis, I will watch. Hijafis means the definitive verb for hijafis is hijida. Hijida, but you got to add the this and the in to make it hijafis. Dolson ayafis, and that's where I'm going this weekend. We got a spelling bee going. We got a spelling bee going at Eufaula Community Center, and if anybody's listening that's going to be close around there, y'all come up and visit and watch it. In this spelling bee, the names, we give them a list, and this is by Eufaula Canadian Tribal Town. And they get list 1, list 2, and there's Muskogee words on there. So we'll ask the Muskogee word to them, and they got to spell it just like a spelling bee, but this is different, isn't it? They have to spell the Muskogee word. And it's just like a spelling bee. It may be a little lenient. We let them spell. If they miss 3, they're eliminated. Then they'll come down to 2. And if there's a toss-up word, if there should be a tie. And the prize money is pretty good. It's $300 for first place. And so on down. Second place gets a little lower, and then the third place gets a little lower. So they give that, and they've been having it for a long time now. So if y'all's close around, go watch it, because sometimes it can really get interesting. Because you don't know who's going to come up to meet each other in the finals. So I'll be there. I'm going to go there. Remember, everybody, y'all go vote now. Everybody go vote. Tomorrow's a primary election. Everybody go vote. And then, then I'm going to go to the spelling bee. And after the spelling bee, I got to go buy groceries. And my weekends are kind of full. After I buy groceries, I got to take them home and unload them, put them in there. And then I'll find out, okay, sometimes my husband will say, what do you want to do now? We might go get a burger. We might go get an ice cream. But, we're always doing something. That's how come it's infinitive verbs. We're always doing something. Always. So if I say spelling bee, Dimaskan, Ahoya Handuis. Ahoyada is to go, but I made 2 people. Ahoyada. So that means like Jokayadega ga and Jokayadega. Jokayadega. So word changes, and I need to go through that too, and I may do that before we even start these sentences if I can get it done. So I'm always doing something. And then I may go on to a meat market get some meat. My family is meat eaters and we have to buy meat all the time. Cause my family, but that's the Muskogee, I wanna say culture, I wanna say tradition. But most Muskogee families gotta have meat. Some of them don't, but most of them do, and that may be why our health is not the way it is, but my family has to have meat. My family has to have meat at every meal. And and they eat red beans, there's your protein right there, but they won't meat with it. So we get a double dose. So we have meat all the time. So Nishida, look here. Nishida. So I can say, I'm gonna do future. Abishwa, Nisathis. Nisathis. Nisida is the infinitive verb, but I can say, I'm gonna buy. To buy, I'm gonna make that. Instead of pass, I can put Nisahis. Nisathis. Either way, Nisathis, I will buy meat. See? On here. So that's how you use these things. Is everybody confused by now? Are y'all getting this? How I can do infinitive verbs, use it any way you want. Like Ayathis, Ayida, right here, Dulce. Look at Dulce. It's supposed to be Tulsa, but we couldn't say Tulsa, so we said Dulce. Dulce, Ayathis. I will go to Tulsa. I may do that, I don't know. Me and my grandkids usually take off, their mother usually takes them on weekends. While we care for them through the week, she takes them on weekends. That's the only time she has time. So she'll take them on weekends. And so, but we got most care for them, and they're learning the Muskogee language by being with me. So, okay, there's one question, maybe. Good. It says it's very helpful to listen to you constructing new sentences from what's here. And that's what I'm doing. There are different ways you can use it, different ways it's spoken. You can say this in all kinds of ways, like look here, Tulsa Ayathis, this saying, I will go to Tulsa, but you can also say Dolshan Ayayunks. Ayayunks. It's saying I went to Tulsa. So the next week I'm gonna tell you past Dolshan Ayayunks. I can say I went to Tulsa. See, it wasn't present, it wasn't future, but it was past. It's gonna be past. So you can use this any way. So things like that, this can be used anyway, but it's infinitive verbs. And we're verb prominent language. Look what we did, look what we can do with verbs, okay? Look what we can do with verbs. That's why I say, okay, Wegida is to quit. Wegas is I am quitting. Wegas, you quit. This right here, when it's 5 o'clock, I can say, I don't get work. Wegas, I'm stopping work. I'm quitting work today. Hasiskika jakiba, all that. I don't get a wegas. Or you can say, Wegathis. I don't get a Hasiskika, remember sun measure. Jakibat 5. Or fat when it gets there. Wegathis. Right here. I'm making it a future. Wegathis. I will quit work at 5 o'clock. See, that's gonna be future. It ain't here yet. But look, today, when the clock hits 5, I'll quit work. It's today but it still hasn't been 5 o'clock, so it can be considered future. Mojanita. Mojanita is today. Hasiskivka, sun measure. Jakibat, full thought. When it gets to 5, I don't get a way office. Way office. See, I'll quit working. I'll quit my job. I'll quit my job at 5 o'clock. There you go. Right here. Way office. Wegida is to quit. Wegas, I quit. It's just got it's using these it's using these infinitive verbs right here. I think I got Vegas up here. So it's just using verbs and saying what you want. Okay. And you use them every day. I want y'all to use them, even if it's just for your child, or even just use it. Like, see, my husband don't know how to speak either, but he's picking up words. So I say, "Ewegas." Ewegas. That's an expression. I'm saying, "Gosh, quit," but they see, ewegas, just quit. It can be filler for anything. Like imadat. Oh my gosh. Imadat. The E on there is like kind of like I want to say like just quit. Like my husband will be limping around, and I'll say, "Ewegas, eweganos, just quit now." See. So this has a lot, the tone has a lot to do with it, just like mache. Okay. You can say machi. Way to go. Or that's good. Or you did it. But you can say machi. Like somebody shot a 3-pointer and they made it. All right, way to go. That's kind of like a all right thing. Machi. See, that expression, that tone is in there. So a lot of times we be playing, sometimes we be playing cornhole. We play cornhole with like last week, we played cornhole with our grandkids out in the yard. And my little grandson just threw it any way and it went in. And his boja said, "Machi." And he knew what it meant. See, he meant, all right, way to go, high five time. You can use it as that. High five time. That's what you can say, machi. So when you're going around and your husband cooks dinner, say machi. All right, I don't have to cook. Machi. Your wife costs a 10-pound fish. Machi. Way to go. Your grandchild graduates. You walk up to her and say, "Machi." Way to go. See how many ways did I use machi? Machi. How many times did I use it in totally different ways? In different situations. That machi is just can be used so many different ways, so many different ways, and so is with infinitive verbs. You can use this so many different ways. You can use this all different ways. Okay. Look here we go. We're using it right here when we're not saying bye. There is no goodbyes in Muskogee language. Okay, look here. I will see you. Chihija is the infinitive verb for this, and is chihijida. Chihijida or hijida. Chihijida. Or hijida. The real word would be hijida, to see or to look. But when you say I will see, you're saying chihijasis. Chihijasis. See, there's that this down there to make that future. I will see you. I will see you. It don't say maybe. I will see you again. Hadam chihijasis. See, it don't say today. It says I'll see you again. It could be that night. And you saw him again. Hadam chihijasis. I will see everyone. Chihijagathis. That same way with that. See, you're doing it plural. Chihijagathis. I will see everyone. We will see each other again. Hadam tihijiyathis. Now look at it. Hadam tihijiyathis. It's got that end in this to make it future. There you go, Jane. There you go. She said the light bulb, and I told you it would. I told you once that light bulb comes on, it's on. And you know, a lot of people quit when it's just a flicker. They don't give that time for that flicker to become a light. So, okay, good for you, Jane. I'm proud of you now. Very proud. See, this is how these words, but it's all about, like I said, not all of them is verbs, but 90% of them were a verb prominent language. Okay, we will see each other again. Tihijida is to see, see each other. But when you say we will, that's future. Hadam makes it again. Tihijiathis. See there? Tihijiathis. Let's see each other again. Hadam tihijagathis. Here we go. Look how it's changing. Tihijagathis. Let's see each other again. Hadam tihijagathis. This is saying we will see each other again. This is saying let's see each other again. In the future. In the future. Okay. It could be tonight. But it's not happened yet. It's future. Okay, let's meet up again. This is where difachagathis. Difachida is the infinitive verb to meet up unexpectedly. Unexpectedly. Let's meet up again. Hadam difachagathis. You don't know when. Listen. It could be next year. You may just unexpectedly meet up next year. But it don't say we will. It says Hadam difachagathis. Let's meet up again. Unexpected. That's just running into each other. Like I told you before, I went into a native store in Tulsa, and there was people from our area down there that we knew. That was the last person I thought I'd see in there. And he come up, he goes, what are you doing up here? And I said, I could ask you the same thing. You're up here too. See, we just kind of just accidentally met up with each other. And he was there talking to my husband, and he said, hey, they've got meat pies. They were having some kind of, maybe a grand opening or something. I don't know what was going on, but he said, they got meat pies over there and they're pretty good. You know, so my husband said, you want to get a meat pie? And I said, no, go ahead. And he did. My husband is bottomless pit in food. So he did. And then he said, and then this girl comes up, one of the proprietors of it, she comes up and she says, we're going to do a drawing. And she said, sign up. It was a shawl, a skirt, I believe, a little girl's skirt, if I'm right, if I'm not lying to you, and a chair, a studio, like a studio chair, like and you know, I never win anything anyway. I just put it in, you know, we go to powwows and I'll buy 10 10 chances on a shaw, and a person will buy one and win it. And I get left out. So anyway, okay, we need a lesson on making meat pies. I can do that. I can do that. So, in fact, if I can get it on here, I might can try it tomorrow. If I can. I'll see if I can load it on here. I just need to download it, but I can't get it. Okay, well, anyway. You can just say, let's meet up again. It's just using infinitive verbs, guys, because we're verb prominent. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how to make a meat pie the way my mom would tell me how to make a meat pie in the Muskogee language. I don't have it written, but I will, okay? So I'm gonna go slow. Okay. Darlegi hayahansis. Hayahansis. Darlegi hayahansis. You have to make the bread. And I'd ask her, do it. And she said, Darleg shakmoski in Darlegi. You make the dough like fried bread. Make it like fried bread dough. And what I do is I let that sit for a while. Let it sit for a while. And while that's getting done, I brown my abishwa, no fetsit. I cook my meat. What do you think it is? Situation, environment, hamburger, meat, beef. Okay, I cook it, drain it, but I cook my onions in with it. I cook my onions in with the meat. Saute it, while it's cooking. I let the onions saute with the meat. After I do that, then I'll just kind of go step by step because they gotta cool off where you can handle it. So then I'll take ahajifihi, potatoes, and I'll steam them. And I don't know if y'all cook it that way. My husband loves it that way with onions. He likes onions in his fried potatoes. I put it in a little bit of shortening. You put a little bit of shortening into your pan, and when it gets hot, you put your potatoes in there, your peeled potatoes in there, and cover it with a lid. And they'll just get really soft. They'll get real soft, and then you have to turn them over though, watch them, turn them over, and they're more steam cooked than they are fried, okay? So I'll do that, and then I'll set that aside to cool off, because you don't need to drain that off because there's not much fat in it. Now you do the hamburger meat and onions. Okay, while those are cooling, you're cutting your circles out. And you don't need a whole lot because remember, this is fried bread dough. It'll puff up on you. It'll puff up on you. So I just use very little dough. I like a circle. I pinch mine off like that, maybe about this big. Maybe the size of a golf ball, a little bigger. And I roll it with a rolling pin. But I'll season my hamburger meat. You can season it with anything. One of my daughters likes it with taco seasoning. One of my daughters likes it with just salt and pepper. And the other one actually makes it hot. She'll put pepper flakes in it, salt and pepper and stuff in it. Mix it. When you cut the bread off. You roll it until it comes out about like this. And then I take it and I put the meat and potatoes in there. I'll put them in there. And then I'll just seal it. Sometimes I'll bake it. I don't usually fry it, but sometimes I will fry it. But sometimes, a lot of times I'll bake it. But it's just getting that, seasoning right. Just getting the seasoning the way you want it, But my kids will, in fact, my daughter asked for some this year not too long ago. She said, Mom, can you meat pies. And I did. You know, I make meat pies. And I make tortillas too, and I use that same thing and make oh, what do you call that? I just left my mind. Fold it over, but I put cheese in it. And
Quesadilla.
yeah, I'll make that, yeah. But I make my tortillas homemade. You know, it's just water, mija, grease, flour, shortening, water, and salt, you know, to taste, and just mix it up and flatten them out and throw them on the stove. And then I'll put my meat and my cheese I add cheese to that in my quesadilla and throw it back on the stove and they get brown. That's how I make it. Too, I do any, you know, my daughter doesn't know how to improvise. She'll say, Mom, we don't have nothing to eat. And there's plenty of stuff, but she doesn't know how to make things with, I learned how, I was taught to make things with nothing. You know, just put things together. Like one day we had run out of eggs. We didn't, well, we're kind of like a local, my husband called us a store. My daughter, they live in different areas, but they'll come up and take stuff. Like they'll say, Grandma, I took some eggs. Or they'll say, Mama, I took some eggs. Mama, I borrowed one of your light bread. They shouldn't even borrow it because they don't bring it back anyway, but they'll say, I borrowed the light bread. Or they'll say, Mom, I went and come and got 2 cans of corn. Or they'll say, I come got some green beans. So we're kind of like a surplus store to our kids. And sometimes they'll say, I went and got some, I got some of your toilet tissue. And so, and they know how to get in our house. So they come in and they do that. So one day I looked in there and I said, you know what? We don't have no, she said, Mom, we don't have no eggs. And I said, well, you want breakfast? Is that what you want? She said, yeah. I said, okay. I said, we got milk. She said, yeah. And I said, okay, so what's in there? And she said, we got sausage, but no eggs. I want eggs. And I said, you don't have to have eggs for breakfast. I said, Lanita took those, my oldest daughter. She had taken the eggs. And I said, we have to get some more eggs because I'm sure, I don't know what else is missing. I told her because I said, I haven't looked at my kitchen, but I'm sure there's a few things missing because they were shopping in my kitchen. So anyway, they came, I said, you know what? And so I asked my grandkids, what do y'all want? One little boy, he said, I want biscuits. But he tells me, I want the bread that you do this with. He's talking about biscuits. And then I said, okay. I said, what does the other one want? And she said sausage. So I made them sausage biscuits. Exactly. One said, my husband wonders why I shop at Costco and Sam's Club. It's hard to supply 5 households. It's hard to supply for my household because I have 6 people in there. I have 3 kids, 4 one family, and then me and my husband. But then when they come up, and I stock up during winter because we're quite a ways. We're like 17 miles from a store on each way. One is Henrietta, Omogie, and one is Omogie's a little further. But then I got Eufaula over here in Shakota, especially Walmart. So I always stock up on our groceries during wintertime. Anything. We have toilet tissue, we have paper plates, we have we'll stock up on everything, you know. And so they'll come over and they'll shop. My husband says we're the neighborhood, what do they call it? A store like on a reservation, you know. That's what he calls us, you know. And he'll say they can't. And so I didn't know those eggs. So I made a milk gravy. I cooked my sausage first. And then I made gravy with it, milk gravy with it, and biscuits. And they ate those, they ate them up, and I made a whole pan of biscuits, you know. And I make my biscuits homemade. I don't use canned because my kids don't like them. They'll say, we don't want the canned biscuits, we want the ones that you do this to. You know, they'll show me, the little boy especially. He'll show me how to make biscuits. He'll say, you do this. I want those. So that's what I do. I make homemade biscuits and milk gravy sausage. And I said, you know how much you pay for that at McDonald's? You know how much you pay for that at McDonald's? And you only get a certain amount. Here, you can eat all you want. And they did. So see, she don't, and you know, I do everything like, you know. Enough that you're going, she goes, she has got the one. Enough that you're going. Yeah. She goes. It's not hard. What keeps me going is my grandkids, you know, if that's what you're asking for. Sometimes like last night, you know, I got home tired and I asked them what they wanted. They said goulash. So I call mine ghetto goulash. Ghetto goulash, and I made that for them. And they really did eat it. They like it. You know, they eat anything. Convenience store, yes it is. It's like a little dish. He said, is your store like a convenience? It is. But you know, it's my kids. You know, and you know, my kids, they sometimes they'll run short, you know. And so they do come up there and they will get, you know, they shop. And one day my husband comes in from work and he caught my oldest daughter in there. And she was just in there on the floor in my pantry. She said, you got canned corn, Daddy? He said, I don't know, you have to look for it. And just walked on by because he's used to it. So when I was getting home, he said, now Lanita took about 4 cans of corn, you know. So don't plan on eating corn today. And I'm like, okay. You know, so, and then she gets what she wants and walks out. Because they know they can do that, you know. And that's as a parent and as a grandparent. I don't want my grandkids, my kids to go hungry. So that's my job. And so, you know, I make sure they eat all the time. I make sure that they have what they need. So this job not only takes care of me, it takes care of my kids and my grandkids. You know, it takes care of me and my grandkids and my kids. You know, if they need gas, they'll say, Mom, you got an extra 20 for gas? Yeah. Mom, Dad, you know, or sometimes they'll go to their dad and they'll say, Dad, you got $15. I got a copay. I say, yeah. He'll say, yeah, I'll get it for you. And we do. And, you know, sometimes they'll say, Mom, we run out of laundry soap and the kids' clothes are dirty. I said, well, take you some laundry soap or wash them over here. You know, and they don't know this life that I had when I would put a little red wagon. I would have a little red wagon and my grandma, I would take my grandma's clothes down to the pond. And we had to haul water and put them in these black pots. And then they had a fire underneath and we washed them. And she had this stick that she would lift them up, you know, and stir this pot and then go back in, you know, and then we take that stick again and then put it into the rinse water over here and then let that rinse. And then we take the same stick, take the clothes out and put it into another tub of cold water to rinse them out. And they don't know that. I wish they did. I wish we could live. I could take my kids back to that time. They might like it. You know, but oh, Jonathan. So that's how my family is. You know, my family's always been close. And my mom told me before she died, keep them together. Keep them together. And that's what I do, I keep them together. But see, all this is infinitive verbs. Just when I got through telling you, Jay, about meat pies, that was like a command, wasn't it? You do this, you do this, you do this. It's a command out of infinitive verbs. Okay? I said, daglegi, bread, adachit. I said, tear it off, roll it, jaligit. And that's, see, that's saying that's jaligit means jaligita is to roll. But when you're doing it, I'm telling you, you got to do that. See? It's telling you those are all infinitive verbs. All infinitive verbs. Okay, any questions? We got about 5 minutes. I just went over this right here. Especially this one. Somebody had a question about dragon. And this, dragonfly. Dragon is Danaloga. Danaloga. Hear this? Hear those sounds? Danaloga is a dragon. But they said, what about a dinosaur? Same thing. Dinosaur is same thing. Danaloga. Danaloga. But they said dragonfly does not sound anything like Danaloga. It's Dabasana. Hear those sounds? Dabasana is a dragonfly. But look here, daddy long legs almost sounds the same. But look at the ending. Dabasole. One is sana and the other one is sole. Dabasole. And that's daddy long legs. And I named these, I named these for my grandkids, and they don't question this. But they wanted to know the difference. So one is flying, and one is a dinosaur or a dragon. Danaloga is a dragon or a dinosaur. And that's where situation and environment comes in. Before there was people, there was dinosaurs around. So see, I said before there was people. So situation tells you that they were talking about a dinosaur, right? So I can say isti fuligo mongen. Fuligo, if I say isti is people, fuligo mongen, before they were around. Danaloga, fuladiduis. There were dinosaurs were around. So see, I'm saying before people. So situation tells you that before people, what were they? Dinosaurs. They're an ice age. So I'm talking about dinosaurs. That's where this comes in. Osha is poke salad. And I had that question asked to me, and I'm like, I always forget this word. I don't know why. I can never keep it in my head. But I'm going to tell you this. When I tell you I'm not a master, somebody asked me about a Phoebe. And I said, I know that word, but I don't know what it is. See, Phoebe. Remember this, because I got it wrote down so I'll remember it. Phoebe is a gourd. A gourd. And it's F-E-P-E, gourd. Phoebe. Good. Jimmy says, Stinwagathis. He said, forgive me. And I said, Stinwagathis. Stinwagathis means I will drop it or make it quick for you. I'm not going to bring it up. Stinwagathis. Shinwegath is either one. It says I'll make it quick for you. So I'm gonna forgive you. So anyway. That's how this is used. If I say Dabashana, I'm talking about dragonfly, not a Danaloga dragon. Okay. See this? Dabashole is a daddy long legs. I'm not saying sana, I'm saying sole. Dabashole. See how these Indians start? Look here. Unusual once in a while. This has got a tone. Do mahi. Do mahi. And that's how he is. Do mahi. He dois. And I can use this with anybody. Like, I don't see my brother very much, so I can say, Jajisqua do mahi. He dois. Mado, mado. I say, I hardly ever see, you hardly ever see it once in a while. Unusually, once in a while. Do mahi. PJ dois. Jajisqua. I only see him once in a while. See, you can use it that way. But if it's something unusual, do mahi, it says. It happened. Moyimats. Moyimats. Moyimats, it happened long time ago. It means past. Moyimats. It did happen. Dogas, I mean, muck dogas, I am saying it. Muck dogas. I am doing dogas. Now, dogas. This is like dogas means now. Like if you're waiting for you to run, waiting for that gun to blow, and the gun didn't go off, you say dogas, litkas. Hear it? Look at that, how I put those litkida to litkas command. Dogas, litkas, now run. See how I put these together. All right, okay. Hasiskika hokola, hoyeni biga. Boxing jihijagatis. Look. Boxing jihijagatis. Boxing is tomorrow. Jihijagatis. I'm saying future, ain't I? Boxy jihijagatis. Okay? Boxy. All right, Mado, everybody, and I hope y'all learned something today. It will kind of just going over things that's going to come in the next class. So I'll see y'all. Jihijagatis. I will see y'all. Mado, everybody. Mado. Mado, you get to get. Ayibes. I'm going to say Mado, and I'm going.